So once again, we're seeing the construction industry pull back on volume of construction. The question is, what does this mean for the real estate market? And what does it mean for the construction industry? Well, it's no secret that home prices have gone up, interest rates have gone up, but more importantly, the cost of building a house is dramatically higher. And for a while, it was blamed on the lumber price spike, where lumber prices went up from $500 per thousand board feet up to $1,500, a three times rate increase. Now it's back down to about 650 or 700 per thousand board feet, so it's not quite as high, but there still are shortages and much higher prices on all the other items that go into a house. Look at this picture of a house in this article. You can see that there's lumber that goes into the house, but there's many more things. You have all these windows, you have the roofing, you have plumbing, electrical, doors, you have finish work, sheetrock, paint, cabinets, flooring. The lumber is usually about 25% of the cost factor of a new home build, including labor. So even though lumber has come back down, all of the other factors that go into a house, such as labor, finishings, even permits, taxes, and the builder's carrying costs because of interest, have all gone up. What's happened is that rise in the cost of building a house has exceeded what builders think the market will bear. It's almost that you build a brand new house and you can't even sell it for enough to support your cost. You can't get back what you put into it. So what are builders doing? They're pulling back on how many houses they're building. Okay, no surprise there, no secret there. But what does it mean? Well, right now, the reason that the housing prices went up in the first place, not counting construction costs, has to do with inventory. Think about it. A used house, a pre-owned house, doesn't have any building costs. The building costs were baked in when it was constructed 5, 10, 15 years ago. So the lumber price spike, the labor spike, doesn't affect the price of a resale home. Right? Because that house already has cost built in. So why did those prices go skyrocketing? Well, it's because of supply and demand. There were many more buyers that wanted to buy a house than there were inventory available. That's why houses had 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 sometimes offers put in on the same house. Well, only one of those people ended up with the house. All the other ones are still in the market. Now, certainly there are more houses in the marketplace. More people are putting houses for sale. But there's the same number of buyers. And in most markets, the price hasn't really crashed. Sure, some markets there's a little bit of a pullback on price. Some of the inflated prices are being discounted a little bit. But it's not like the market has gone back down to 2018 levels. There are neighborhoods that we looked at that in 2017 or 18 were 350, 400, 450 houses maybe, and now they jumped up to 750, 800. Some of these houses were asking 820, 830. Well, now some of these houses are 720, 740. Very rarely now are they over 800. There's still a few that are 799, but they're not going back down to 400 or 450 or even 500 for that matter. The prices are still going to be in the sevens. On top of that, there's also a higher interest rate. Used to be 3%, 2.5%, 3.5%. Now it's 5 or 6, and probably going to go higher again for resale houses. So there's still the same number of people that want to buy houses. What's going to happen is, in 2 or 3 or 4 years, when this current home building pullback starts to affect the resale market, there's now going to be even more of a shortage. Experts predict that right now there's already 5 million homes short of what the market needs. And that's assuming building continued at the rate that it was going at. Well, now the rate is going to slow down. There's still more people coming into the market every day, new families being formed, people moving from other countries. You have people becoming adults, people that were 18, 19, 20, now they're 24, 25, and they need to buy a house. There's many reasons why there needs to be what's called household formations, new household formations. And those houses have to come from somewhere. Or people that were renting and now they want to be buyers. This always happens. There has never been a long-term period where there's less homes needed. There's always more homes needed. Population is not shrinking. And the demographic that wants to be a homeowner is not shrinking. So now you have a pullback. Started maybe 4 or 5 months ago. Will probably continue for at least a year, year and a half. At the end of 2023, who knows what will happen. But at least for the last half of 22 through 23, there's not going to be a very aggressive home builder construction frenzy to build a bunch of new houses. Builders are still in shock from what happened in 2008. They're still cautious about putting money in spec homes, speculative investments. So they're going to play it cool. They're going to play it cautious. And what will happen is that's going to put more pressure on available inventory. So once we get into 2024, 25, or 26, now it's going to be even more of a housing crisis with not enough houses to go around, shortage of inventory. So whatever happens to prices in the next year, maybe they soften up a little bit, maybe they don't spike as much as they did, but the housing shortage is going to catch back up to it. Houses are not going to go back down to where they were in 2016, 17, 18. They may level off here for a while, but this housing shortage is being created today will maybe not show up for 2 or 3 years. That's where you make your money. You look at what's going to happen down the road. It's like playing chess. You look 3 moves in advance. In advance is there's no houses being built right now, and years from now people are going to need them, and they're not going to be there. That's supply and demand. House prices will go up. Let us know what you think in the comments.